This is RRG Online Academy. This is Rasul and welcome to this TOEFL IBT course. In this video, we are going to check an essay together. It is writing task 2 in the TOEFL IBT exam. Before we start, I should note that in this video, I'm not teaching you how to write. I have already done that in a video named TOEFL IBT Writing Task 2 Guide. So if you want to see how to structure an essay and what strategies to follow, first watch that video. A second point I would like to emphasize is this. I'm correcting this essay mainly based on the 3 very important skills in modern academic writing: clarity, cohesion, concision. I have made separate video for each of these skills. I highly encourage you to watch those videos before coming to this correction, because here I don't have time to repeat all those things. When I'm correcting this essay, I'm assuming that you have already watched those videos and you know what I'm talking about. So without any further ado, let's start the correction together. Alright, the student's name is Farid and this is his essay. He has written 494 words. Okay, Farid, this is good. If you can handle this in the exam, it is beautiful, go for it. But if you're experiencing time problem right now while you're practicing, I suggest you reduce your word count to 400 if you have time problems. Otherwise, this is good. And you don't need to write the introduction so long, keep it short. Okay, let's start. This is a question. Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? It is better to have broad knowledge of many academic subjects than to specialize in one specific subject. Use specific reasons and examples to support your answer. So basically, the important parts are here. So the focus of the question is on these 2 elements. Let's see what Farid has done. He says, knowledge plays a crucial role in today's progressive world in which a multitude of scientists try to discover new tools for humankind for easing their lives as much as possible. Okay. In the past, people having various skills are appreciated more than others. However, these days, most individuals and I are looking for professionals when facing a difficulty, since we are aware of the fact that with scattered knowledge, our problems will not be solved. Okay, we can make some surgeries on this sentence. First, this is word, not R. I'm using a color code system. Blue means I added, cross out, as you can guess, means delete, and sometimes I will use the color red to mean delete. Also, Farid, with however, use this pattern. Semicolon, however, comma. This is more professional. However, these days most individuals and I are looking for professionals when facing a difficulty. Well, Farid, you're using the word professional loosely here. Difficulties, since we are aware of the fact that, well, if you watch the video on concision, you will see that there is a problem here. There we are saying that when you can write something, you can say something in 2 words, don't say it in 3. Keep it short, because when you write in a lengthy manner, if you write a book, for example, defending a theory, it's gonna be like 3-4 books. But if you shorten the sentences carefully with the concision skills, you can say the same things in 2 or maybe even 1 book. Now judge it yourself, which one is better, because one can have the knowledge of various skills and still be professional. So just using the word professional to point to someone who has expertise in one subject is not a good wording. So I wouldn't have used professionals just for that purpose. So here's the thing, instead of saying are aware of the fact that, cross this out and say and just say no, because this means the same thing. Are aware of the fact means no. I'm sure you're gonna say, no, when we use this, we add a special elegance to writing. No, you don't. It's only you who thinks you are adding special elegance to writing, not your reader. You're not writing to yourself, you're writing to a reader, so you should consider him or her instead of yourself. And adding special elegance to writing concerns more literature writings. Here, we are writing an academic essay for an exam in which they want you to write as simple and as clear as possible. So we know that with scattered knowledge, our problems will not be solved. I have substantiated my idea by providing 2 supporting reasons that are illustrated. Okay, Farid, this is a memorized sentence. I am certain that you have memorized this and you're using it in every essay that you write. Please don't do this. It's obvious that you have memorized this. And raters do not like this. Raters want a natural, spontaneous response. Do not memorize anything. It's gonna give a negative point of view to the rater, and overall it might hurt your score. Instead of like trying to say such fancy words, fancy sentences, just be yourself. When you speak or when you write in your own language, do you really do this? There is a pattern to students writing, and it's this. They think that if they use complex grammatical structures, if they use advanced vocabulary, it means that they have good writing. But that's not the case at all. The art of writing in our time is to write the most complex things in the clearest and simplest way possible, so that even high school kids will understand. Your target audience should not be highly educated PhD level students. Your target audience should be average people, especially those that are a little bit slow, because when you target them, even the intellectuals would understand. But when you target intellectuals, you're excluding the first group in your audience. So don't do that. Now, I have substantiated my support. Okay, I'm gonna just change this. And why present perfect? Write as if you're narrating something. Like when I read it, I should feel that you're speaking to me right now, not that you have already done that. You have put it on paper and I'm reading that. Make it a narrative. So instead of that, just say support. Not I have supported. I have supported my idea. Better be my position. Idea is a little bit too general here. By providing there we go. Look how short Rick got. I support my position with 2 reasons below. Don't worry about writing in a simple manner. People think that when they do this, their writing is gonna feel like too basic, but like I said, no. Just check your university book. Look how simple they are writing. And those who write those books are giants in that field. So follow their footsteps, write simple. Okay, Farid, this is not necessarily for TOEFL, but in academic writing, from second paragraph onward, press a tab, and we call it indenting, in the beginning of each paragraph. The purpose is that the reader can very easily see where the paragraphs start. But since the first paragraph is already clear, we don't do it in the first paragraph. Another suggestion I have is that just shortly mention the reasons. Just give me a roadmap. Do not explain, just mention that my reason is X and Y. So I know what I'm going to read. Alright, let's go to the first support paragraph. To begin with, excelling in a subject needs spending plenty of time. and also putting a lot of effort in order to comprehend the discipline so well. Okay, so here your argument is time-wise. Okay, time is something you spend, which is why you don't need to mention it. I know it sounds strange, but watch the video on concision, you will understand why. Second, don't use and also together. Go with one, it's gonna be enough. Excelling in a subject needs plenty of time and putting a lot of effort in order to comprehend the discipline so well. Yeah, this feels off, get rid of it. Therefore, it is not possible for any person to have such time to allocate to be professional in different kinds of fields. Okay, this sentence needs help. First, I would like to mention this. Do not use excessive language. Like, it is not possible for any person. Really? It is possible for me to allocate time to be professional in many different fields. People in history have proved that. Plato, Descartes, Ibn Sina, and the list goes on. So there is a reasoning problem here. Put your sentences softly. Don't make them too rigid. Don't use excessive language. Instead of saying it's not possible, say that it's not practical. This way, you're allowing for some exceptions. In other extreme languages, any person, this is just too rigid. Go a bit more general and make it softer. To have such much time, we don't say such much time. When you say such a time, it refers to the time that you have discussed before. And here you're saying plenty of time, which means that much, so you don't need to repeat it. This such will refer to that. It is not practical for most people to have such a time to allocate to be professionals in different kinds of fields. Time is something you allocate. Get rid of it. We don't need it. It's redundancy. Okay, now the sentence is better, but I can even take a further step and make it simpler. And you're going to hate me for doing this. I'm going to delete this whole thing, start the sentence here, get rid of this too, and read it, and voila. Most people do not have such a time to be professionals in different kinds of fields. See? Simpler. Now put yourself in the shoes of a 13-year-old, a little bit slow kid. Which sentence, the original or the revised one, would that kid understand better? Yes, the second one. Now, indeed, when someone dedicates themselves to picking up just one ability, they will become much more creative in that area. Thereafter, they're able to start a business and a successful entrepreneur. Okay, you're giving the example and make it clear. Give a heads up for your reader. Because here, the point is not necessarily about business, right? So you're using it as an example, like business life and entrepreneurship. And then you're gonna talk about Elon Musk, about whom we hear just too much these days. Elon Musk, whose primary interest is the battery, can be a perfect illustration of this discussion. Okay. Yeah, you have used the illustration here. You could skip this, but I still prefer this. He studied mainly about rechargeable batteries when he used to go to the university, and he conducted many sorts of experiments on them. Okay, let's do some surgery in this sentence. He mainly studied. We don't need to say study about something. You can directly say study something. So he mainly studied rechargeable batteries when he used to go to university. This is a redundancy. Just delete this whole thing and add in. Done. Beautiful, isn't it? Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words, I just wrote one and I said the same exact thing, no difference whatsoever. So, one book, 7 books. Do not torture your reader with 7 books. Just say it in one and save them the time and the trouble. and he conducted many sorts of experiments. Many already means sorts. No need to say that. Many experiments on them. Consequently, his productivity encouraged him to find Tesla electronic cars, one of the obvious features of which is that they do not utilize fossil fuels anymore. Okay, you could put a comma here, but it's fine. Had he jumped from one area of science to another one, he could have hardly specialized in a field and established this profitable company based on it. Okay. When you say from one area to another, it already means that one, so get rid of it. From one area of science to another. Okay, this is a good paragraph, I like it. It's well structured, it's sharp, you're answering the question, and more importantly, you're able to support your answer. Sometimes people talk, even on paper, but they do not answer the question. You're not doing that here. You're sharp. I like it. I hope you keep it till the rest of this essay. But a general problem is that people usually write their first support paragraph very well. They get tired, and in their second support, they usually mess things up. I hope that's not gonna happen to you. Let's check the second support paragraph. Faris says, furthermore, like the old saying goes, knowledge is power. Educated people are more likely to do things that seem impossible at first. Okay, Farid, the relationship between this sentence and this is not so clear. Like they could both be independent sentences. And there should be a comma here. But still, it's not so clear how they are related. So such humans believe in making effort more than chance and force themselves to alleviate the routine difficulties of mankind's life by exploiting their information to remove obstacles in front of their way and discover new objects like computers, microneedles, vaccines of diseases, and so on. Okay, there's a long sentence, it's fine, but we need to change some stuff. When you say they force themselves to alleviate, it already means that they are making effort. So get rid of this, and you don't need this chance part. That's not the point of your argument. Belief too is not necessary. Such humans force themselves to alleviate the routine difficulties of mankind's life. Saying mankind is enough because we know you're talking about their life. So bye-bye. By exploiting their information to remove obstacles in front of their way. Well, obstacle is something that is in front of their way, which is exactly the meaning of obstacle, something that is on your way and that is deterring you from moving forward. So you don't need to say it, just obstacle is enough. To remove obstacles and discover new objects like da-da-da-da-da. Okay, eventually. Alright, but I'm still not clear what your main point is. Let me read that part again. And you see, when this happens, you're in trouble. If the rater has to stop, think, and reread to understand, then you're in trouble and your score is gonna suffer. In the beginning of the paragraph, in a short sentence, give the topic, showing that, look, this is my main point. This is what I'm going to argue in this paragraph. Then get into details. I have no idea what you're arguing for in this paragraph so far, and I have to read it again. Like the old saying goes, knowledge is power. Educated people can do things likely seem impossible at first. Okay, here you're arguing for educated people doing things that seem difficult, and this knowledge is power is just irrelevant. Such humans force themselves to alleviate more routine difficulties. Okay, to remove obstacles. So what here you're arguing that educated people can ace in difficulties. Alright, but is that really answering the question? Is the question whether educated people can shine in difficulties, or is it about specializing in various disciplines versus specializing in one discipline? You have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences deep into the paragraph. That is almost half the paragraph, and you still have not answered the question. Here is the bad news. When you do this, the raters do this. Because it's irrelevant. You're not answering the question. But I'm gonna let it be there, hoping that you're gonna connect it to question. But I highly doubt that it's possible. Even if you do, you have lost 5 lines. Eventually, although a few uneducated but skillful people can also invent new tools, convenient and useful inventions are totally found by researchers who spend the whole of their life acquiring just one profession for many years. Again, this is extremely rigid and just not true. Make it softer. 1 word instead of 3. Who spend their whole life acquiring just one profession for many years. Alright, Farid, I don't know if you notice, but you're repeating your thesis statement over and over again. In your thesis statement, you're basically saying, look, people who have a specialty in one area are better than people who have a specialty in many areas. And here you're just repeating that with a different shape. You're not giving me reasons. Okay, you said this, but tell me why. Why should I accept that? Give me the reason, because just saying this is a claim. This is not going to convince me. When you write, think that your reader has opposite view to that of yours, and with your essay you're going to have to convince them by giving reasons. This is not a reason. This is just a paraphrase of your thesis statement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 sentences, you have not still giving me a proper reason. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining or blaming you. I'm just trying to open your eyes to writing sharply. But let's see, are you going to give me reasons? In contrast, knowing a bit about every matter, people will have never flourished until they focus on one field. Again, this is extremely rigid, so I'm gonna get rid of this. So because we changed the sentence, we're gonna get rid of that ed. People are less likely to flourish until they focus on one field. Right? Do you see the point I was making? You're still repeating your thesis. You're not giving me reasons. You're just putting in different forms. Just look at this. Just look at this and look at this. They're the same exact sentence with a different mask. You're not giving reasons. You're repeating your claim. Be careful. Reports of Harvard University disseminate that individuals studying one branch of science in the university are broadly believed to be more confident in the subject of coping with problems than do those who enroll in various courses. You mean subjects, not courses, because you can study one subject, because you can study one subject but have 100 courses in that subject. Course is not the appropriate word there. Why disseminate? Why use fancy words? Why not show? Why torture your reader? Show that individuals studying one branch of science, well, people who study branches of science in the university, so cross it out, are broadly believed to be more confident. Really? And now Harvard University's reports are based on people's beliefs? Get rid of this. What one believes is irrelevant, and you cannot use that as evidence. Here you're using evidence to support your claim. Reports of Harvard University, or basically you could say Harvard University reports, show that individuals studying one branch of science are broadly more confident in the subject. My question for you, does anything change when I delete this? They are more confident in coping with problems. No, nothing changes. If it doesn't, get rid of the subject of. Okay, but I still would like to see some detail here. I know you don't have the space and time to extend it so much, but still, when you are talking about a report, you shouldn't just point to the claim saying that, look, according to this report, X is good. Point to some reasons. You're saying that they are more confident in coping with problems, but I still would like to see some reasons why they are more confident in coping with problems, because otherwise this is yet another claim and you need to support that. But I'm gonna go easy on this. In a broad sense, the more concentrating on a certain subject by a person, the less hindering situations he or she will be faced, not be able to. Okay, I'm gonna write my own sentence here. Okay, I changed this sentence. Let's see why and how. First, this is wordy. You could make it shorter. The more focused a person is on a subject, you could also use concentrated, doesn't matter. But here is problematic part. Instead of all this, you could say complexities, less complexities, because complexity is a hindering situation which you face and which you are not usually able to solve very easily. So you see, I said all these things with just one word. The less complexities she will experience. And don't say he or she. In TOEFL, in IELTS, in GRE, you just pick one and go with it. Don't worry about feminism. And still you're respecting feminism with she. Like I said in the beginning, people usually mess up in their second support paragraph. And thank you for respecting that tradition and doing so. This paragraph needs help. Look, paragraph finished. And I'm still not clear what your main point was. And I'm a reader. Think how difficult it would be for an average reader. If I am confused, they are even more confused. So this paragraph is gonna hurt your score, Farid. Conclusion. In conclusion, I am fond of acquiring just one skill for my profession as well as possible, because not only does it make me more originative in that field, you could go with but it also motivates me to be much more there. To be much more there when I face difficult situations. First, there should be a dot here. Second, difficulty or difficulties refer to situations, so get rid of that word. But it also motivates me. What if I get rid of that? I'll write this. You could even make it shorter, saying in difficulties, because difficulties is a situation and it is something that you face. So why would you say that? I hope these comments will make your mind sharper and make your vision sharper towards writing shortly. Just consider this. This sentence encapsulates the concision skill. One word can save you all this trouble, and that's very helpful. Okay, this is a good essay. You're well structured, so thank your teacher for that. Clearly you have a structure in your mind when you're writing. You have gone astray a little bit in this paragraph, but yeah, that happens. Otherwise your essay is good. I like it. Your writing is good. You're competent in using different grammatical structures, playing with vocabulary. But my suggestion for you, try to write simple. You have the mentality that majority of students have, that they want to write in a fancy way to show that they have good English. That's a common trap. Get rid of that, your writings will be much better. Congratulations. Thanks for sharing this essay with me. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe to help the channel, and stay tuned for the other videos.